Picked up some rustos in case our actual coverability isn't great on the dollar cans. Historically, color place has been a little bit worse than the quick color and coverage, so maybe I'll do the backdrop as that to start. Always such a shame that this stuff gets dissed literally immediately after people finish it. Wild pieces to start there. The piece is laid out pretty well to start. Loving where it's going. Gonna be now giving the first try on to lowering the pressure they can. So I got the ice chest, so that'll be one method, but I was also thinking about the classic removing some propellant on here. So spray some of that out. Flip the can over, and so you're just losing propellant. It's decent. Now let's see if it works a little bit smoother, even though it is still color place. Still sprays very choppy and fast. If we got some more. Now I ran a whole can dry earlier with some of those whites that I was doing in the backdrop, and I had maybe about a minute of spray upside down afterwards. You don't have to worry about losing too much of that. If we do, it's a test in the progress anyways. Still very high. Can's about half full. That makes a difference. We got a little better. A touch smoother. Let's compare that to the can that's been on ice for a little bit. Just due to the color place, but I've also got the painter's touch to check as well. We just stock tip on both times. I was having quite a bit of leaking beforehand. That's quite a bit smoother to begin with. Feels smoother, but it's a little bit too watery. I don't know if the fact that it is still color place, it's gonna work against us in that manner, so we're not gonna be able to get total benefit, but it is definitely spraying slower, just a little waterier. So I don't know if the trade's really worth it with that. We'll revisit it with the painter's touch. Black painter's touch all shooken up, and we got the stock tip on there as well. Let's work on some of these eyes. Wow, it's nice and crisp. Like that a lot. So maybe we do have a bonus here with the reduced temperature. Seems to spit a little bit more when you do take it cold though. Not sure I'm loving that. Let's check the white. See if it affects our opacity at all like it did on the color place. And by the way, I got an adapter on here, so we're not using stock tip anymore. Spits a little less than the stock tip, which is nice. Yeah, that feels real smooth. I like that quite a bit. I think the ice in better than dollar can works pretty well. So I just had the gray primer on ice. Interesting to see it's doing a ton better here. I think just a little bit of extra kind of primer base in these, you know, makes a thicker formula, so less watery to begin with, thus less watery when you actually cool it down. I actually like how that's dusting with the stock tip like crazy. That's perfect. So good to know. I guess, you know, ice kind of following suit works plenty well if it's a little bit better of a can, and then does okay, maybe not great if it's kind of the super cheap watery kind. Pretty awesome, just dropping that pressure a little bit and keeping it on ice. Not sure which combo it is at this point, but I'm able to get some pretty solid cutbacks with the primer. So all things considered, for a $2 can, no complaints there. It's a little bit light on the shade. I wish I had a slightly darker, but I can use the black for that. Look how crisp that edge is. Very nice. I didn't let out too much pressure in the painter's touch. They seem to work pretty well as is with the adapters, but we're building some depth for sure. Got the gray, and I've been actually pumping out a little bit here and there to make sure I'm keeping the pressure low. Like I said earlier, I can spray this out like an extra minute or so after it's totally empty, so there is definitely excess propellant in here. More or less gonna go after just hitting some highlights with the gray, kind of soften up the hard edges here on kind of the outer edge of the piece. Hopefully give it a little bit more force depth there. Coming at it from way far away. Could go at this with white as well, but I think the gray is a nice middle tone, so I don't kind of blast the black off too bad. And then a quick follow-up to that, gonna just do some quick cutbacks with the white, just so that you have kind of a really defined edge here. Gray is almost nice. I was complaining it wasn't quite a dark enough shade, but honestly, if it was any darker, I probably couldn't dust like this with it. I'm gonna fix this. You can see the can's warmed up, and it's definitely a little more watery now. Maybe use touch down on the kind of arrow that came out of the E. A little bit more shading there. Kind of freestyling that, but I don't know what direction that's supposed to come out. Light coming kind of center. I guess it would be kind of a reverse arc there. See, the texture of this wall catches the dust as it falls, which more often than not causes a little bit of issue. You kind of have to be really deliberate about which direction on the can you actually are cutting or spraying. As you can see, we even got black hits on that edge, but it kind of washes out. There's enough texture to the wall that it all looks more or less the same.
I don't like those. I think I'm gonna just stick to my fat caps and my bananas.
Yeah, bananas are one of my go-to. It just works with everything.
Works super beautifully. Oh, that's I noticed these ones though. These ones are pretty nice.
Definitely quite the graveyard of cans. There's like 6 or 7 of the whites. Just the coverage on these is so shoddy that you really can't commit to it. A whole gray and then most of another one actually. So probably about 20 bucks in paint altogether. Not a bad budget session. Painter's touch was an essential for the cutbacks. Never would have been able to do that with all the dollar cans. But let's check out the final piece. Well, I hope you enjoyed the full piece here. I had a lot of fun getting a little on the budget side of things, as well as trying out some new tips and tricks that I really hadn't visited with the cans for quite a while, honestly. If you enjoyed the video, always feel free to spray that like button or consider subscribing to check out some more of the content. And going even a step further, maybe drop over to the shop and check out some of the new products I'm putting out there for the holiday season. That's going to do it for me, guys. Peace.